Underneath the hood of the Navigator, there's a single engine choice that's available, and that's this, a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6. Pushes out an impressive 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. This thing is an absolute monster. The suspension system is fantastic, and the power is excellent inside of the Navigator. Can handle pretty much everything that you throw at it. Lincoln doesn't have any sort of an engine cover underneath the hood here, but I like the overall design. If you're doing things yourself, it's going to be tricky to kind of reach in order to change oil, but you can at least easily top up your wiper fluid along the left-hand side. Then looking at the warranty inside of the Lincoln world, you're looking at a 4-year basic, 6-year powertrain, with the option of increasing your warranty at time of purchase. And then there's also some maintenance that's included as you look at the black label trim level of the ride. Just do yourself a favor, regularly scheduled maintenance, regular oil changes to get the best possible life out of this thing. You're spending north of 6 figures on a car, you might want to take care of her. The style of the front end of the Navigator is completely different year over year. I really love the new look. Different grille than last year. You've got that Lincoln icon star right in the very middle. LED lamps inside of the ride, and then loaded with technology. So you've got the forward park sensing system. There's a front-facing camera too, so a full 360 cam. And you're going to find the Blue Cruise system inside of this ride, so full hands-free driving on highways or interstates. You're going to find a series of different wheel styles inside of the Navigator, but there are 2 different sizes. The default for the Reserve and the Black Label, you're looking at 22-inch, with the option of upgrading to a ridiculous 24-inch option. I think the 24s might be overkill, but the 22s look pretty solid. I personally like the ones for the Jet Appearance package, but the silver one here, I do think looks pretty nice, especially with this paint choice. You're only going to find the Navigator 4x4, doesn't matter which side of the border that you're on, and it does feature an air suspension system. So even with these 22s, it glides like a cloud. Pricing for the Navigator in Canada starts at around $133,000 versus $103,000 down in the US, with the price point going up depending on if you're in the Reserve or the Black Label and which packages you've added on. Well, the price point for the Navigator for the 2025 model is a little eye-watering, but it's a fully capable ride, and at the same time, it is loaded with technology. This one has a fairly soft look to it, so it's not black. This is known as the Starlight Gray Metallic. And the color choice here actually looks really good. I normally think that black Navigators, that black on black look with the Jet Appearance package looks amazing. But looking at the Navigator color here, it's softer than the traditional black metallic. I actually kind of like this one. The rear end styling of the Navigator is so different year over year. I really like what Lincoln's done with the lamps along the back, so full LEDs, that Lincoln badge in the middle, this just pops. Technology-wise back here, you're going to find the reverse park sensing system. There's a backup camera, and then the rear wiper is hidden along the very top. Towing inside of the Navigator is possible. All you're going to do along the very back here, there are some clips. You're just going to rotate in order to be able to pop off the cover. And that's going to give you access to the receiver. And you're going to find the 7 and the 4-pin wiring harness. Towing capacity inside of the Navigator is going to depend on a few things. So it's going to depend on if you're in the long or the regular length, which tire size do you have too. So that's going to play a part in how much you can tow. Maximum, when you look at the heavy-duty tow package inside of the ride, there we go. When you look at the heavy-duty tow package inside of the ride, you're going to be maxing out at 8,700 pound towing capacity. So boats, trailers, this thing, you can throw most things at it. It'll handle it no problem. Getting inside of the trunk of the ride can be done a few different ways, and it is very different year over year. Actually, was really surprised when I first popped it open. So you can open it up individually. So the upper part and the lower part. So you can do that just to the left-hand side of the steering wheel. You can use the key fob to do it. And then just under the second L in Lincoln, if you drop down, there's a little button there you're going to push. And that's going to open up the upper part of the liftgate when you just tap that button. And then along the bottom part, there's also a button there that you can push in order to drop down this lower part separately. I think honestly that split design, rather than just like the regular liftgate, I actually really love this because it gives you a little bit of extra space kind of in the back here if you wanted to have a rest. Now, looking at some features in the back, along the right-hand side, you're going to find a light. There are a few USB Type-C power points, and there are so many all throughout the vehicle here. But there's a 12-volt power point too, along with a 400-watt traditional wall plug. Along the left-hand side, you're going to find a button in order to toggle on overhead dome lighting, which, it's funny, so that's in the Bronco Sport. So to see Lincoln bring that into this is pretty wild. It's a useful feature for sure. I just don't know why more vehicles don't have it, but it's there. And then you can fold down the third row seats from the back. So it's power for the left and for the right side. But before we get there, you're going to find a little storage tray. So lifting that up, a little bit of storage. The opposite side, you can lift, and that's going to give you more storage along the back. So you get a pretty good amount of storage there. Now this is the long length, so you've got either the regular or the long. So you get a little bit more space in the back here, but it's pretty good now. Inside of the front partition here, you're going to find the option of lifting up this little feller, and that is for the jack stand. So the white spigot's there if you ever need to fill up using a jerry can. And then there's the jack stand with the 18-inch Mini located just underneath the ride. But one of the nice things about being a Lincoln owner is roadside assistance. So it can help out with tire changing, fuel delivery, lockout winching services, and so many other things. Then folding down the third row seats inside of the ride, it's going to be power, so like I said, left or right independently, but you could fold them down together, pushing the button in the middle. Nice. So you do get a really flat fold here. The downside is that the second row seats cannot be folded down inside of this ride. So the best that you can do with the second row, there are a few buttons along the side, so you can push in order to be able to move the seat forward, push again to move it forward that little bit more. So no flat fold, unfortunately, inside of the 25s, but in the extended length, I mean, you get a boatload of space. So the measurements that you're looking at, the ones specifically behind the second row, they're going from as far forward as you can get those seats kind of like toppling forward. But there is a pretty solid amount of space inside of this ride. As I mentioned, this one is going to be that long length, so you get a little bit more space here compared to the shorter version. And then closing the doors, you could tap these individually too. So if you just wanted to lift up that lower partition, you could. And then there's a button along the top here you could push in order to close them both simultaneously. So cool. I love that split gate. Filling up fuel inside of the Navigator is done just along the driver's side. It's an unlocked cover that has a capless system, but that capless system features anti-siphon technology. Somebody can't just jam a hose down there to try to siphon out fuel. Looking at fuel quality inside of the Navigator, and one thing that I like about the Lincoln and the Ford lineup is most of their vehicles require just an 87 octane. So at a minimum, you want to use an 87. But having said that, this is powered by a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6. Your best bet is to use a 91. The horsepower and torque specs are all achieved using a 94 octane. And you are going to find power deployable running boards. But before we get inside, side view mirrors here are power folding. They've also got turn signals built in, a side mounted camera, a blind spot system, and they're also auto dimming. You've got the 5-digit number pad on the outside if you need to get in without the key. Intelligent access to either lock the door or slide in to unlock. Look at that interior, but before we get there, love the galvanized controls here. Got your basic handle with some storage down low. A single speaker choice available, so the Revel audio system with speakers all over the place. The seats here, fantastic multi-way adjustable with massage chair seat capabilities. Whew. Now, spacing wise inside of this ride, so okay, there we go. So the seat's as far down as it's going to go, and up overhead I've got, it's at 4.5 inches of head space. So if you're 6'4", 6'5", probably taller, you shouldn't have an issue fitting inside of this ride whatsoever. And it is comfortable too. Oh, I love it. And then you're going to find a series of different interior color choices inside of this ride. But I think with the exterior color, this just works. Look at this. All right, so you've got so many things. So they've essentially borrowed this from the Nautilus. So you've got a little trackpad along the side here, so you can just kind of see what's going on inside of the cluster screen. So you've got the option of turning on your cruise control, 3 different types of cruise. So it's either going to be traditional, there's adaptive, or there's Blue Cruise, which is full hands-free driving. And on this side, this is going to be the control for everything else. So you can adjust your power adjustable pedals there, adjust your side view mirrors and your steering wheel using this pad. It is really neat. If you want full walkthroughs, like you want to know how to use the steering buttons, go through, I guess, the cluster here or the infotainment, the side displays, you'll find full walkthroughs down in the description of this video. But I mean, the displays here are so neat. You've got maps built in and the screens here. So it's essentially Google based. So you've got parts of the screen that are customizable to a degree. So I want you to think of the left half here. So out of this 48-inch screen, left half is more or less locked into place. Right side there, the widgets can kind of be customized, but I'll show you that one in a second here. The main infotainment system here, like I said, it's going to be Google based and it's got so many different options. There's Rejuvenate, so there's digital sense available inside of this car. Wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Because it's Google based, you've got Google Maps built in here. It is a fully loaded screen. I mean, so many things. You've got this in order to customize the upper part of that screen too. So you can adjust it so your compass is there, tire pressure, trailer info, things like that. Your climate control settings are baked right into the screen, but you can control them using your voice if you wanted to. You've got heated, ventilated first row seats, a heated steering wheel, tri-zone climate control, and so many other features. Driver's seat memory there available. On top of that, so there's a button along the seat you can push in order to get to massage chair seats for both the driver and for the passenger side. And then you can also customize individual elements of the screen. So you can tap along the screen there, or you can use the switch along the side in order to move up and down to move out different things, including customizing each individual leg cushion. Again, for both the driver and, oh, no passenger detected, or for the passenger side, yeah, that makes sense. But it's a fully loaded screen. You're gonna find a full 360 camera there too, and you've got your 360 view along the top, and then all of your different options here so you can jump between all of the available views. There's a hitch view, etc. So neat. You've got your push start, piano key shifters, your gear adjusting, volume rocker, along with your 4-way blinkers, the start-stop system. So that's the one where if you come down to a complete stop, might kill off power to the engine, and then a series of selectable drive modes, which, I mean, I love that. Excite. Oh yeah, if you want the best possible performance, Excite's the way to go, or just your normal drive modes there. You're gonna find 2 USB power points, so USB-C, USB Type-A that are data transfer. There's a wireless charge pad along with a few cup holders. Oh, this is nice. This, non-lockable, but you've got a great amount of space. Removable tray with, look at this, more power points, so 2 more USB Type-C, and there's a 12 volt down there too. On top of that, similar to the Nautilus, you've got this, and this release, oh, there we go, is for your digital sense. Oh, so if you want the cabin to smell something unique, you've got that option. You're gonna find, since this one has the trailer tow pack, you've also got, ooh, there we go, your backup assist, integrated brake controller. Down low, you're gonna find a little bit of storage, fully lockable glove box along the right side there. But I mean, the look, year over year, it is wild inside of this ride. Got speakers, like I said, all over the place here. A few speakers, everybody gets a speaker. It's wild. Up overhead, there's an auto-dimming rear view mirror, basic controls for your cabin lights, and then there's also a control here for your full panoramic sunroof. So single press opens up the shade halfway. Secondary press, it's that last bit. And then if you wanted to, you can either vent it out or close and open. Look at that. Just opens things up. So nicely. Oh, it's beautiful out. Yeah, so single button press opens that up the most of the way. Secondary press is that last little bit. But, oh, I love that. All right, from there, overhead, you've got your sunglasses holder, home link system. So if you've got a garage door opener at home, you can program that in. So ticket receipt holder there. Vanity mirror has lights built in. And then this little feller stretches out to block all of the sun. that might be hitting your face. But I mean, very, very different year over year. You don't really have much to worry about for the pillars. Like a little bit maybe there on the driver's side, but blind spot system's there. Oh, that's nice. All right. And second row of the ride, you've got a few different configuration options available here. But before we touch on that, speakers along the door, everywhere. Galvanized controls there with some storage along the door. Adjustable seats, which, I mean, pretty neat, but you've also got the option for this little feller. Okay, hold on. Let's hop inside here. Now, I've got the driver's seat set up for myself being 6 feet tall. And inside of the second row, like I could move the seat forward a bit more, but good amount of knee space, foot space, and head space. So with me sitting fully upright, my head is just touching. But you've got a series of different switches along the side to adjust the seat. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, yeah, so doing a little bit of a recline there. That's nice. Nice, incredibly comfortable. And then you've got massage chair seats, left versus right side. This is optional. So this little console in the middle here, but it gives you options for adjusting your seats, audio, climate, if you wanted to adjust that in the back here. You can adjust out the lighting for the back here too, so ambient light color choices. It's a phenomenal screen. Toggle the display off, go to a little calming view, bring it back to life. You've got some storage there with some cup holders, more storage there on top of that. And you've got a little slidable tray if you wanted to hide it. If you've got a Navigator that has the little console here in the middle, there's also some hidden storage. So you've got this little design along the very bottom. But if you push it, look at that. Nice, deep storage. Strictly when you get the console set up. Then, if you were to move down low, you're going to find controls for the sunshade so people in the second row can control it. Down low from there, there's another wall plug in the back. And then some cup holders down low there too. It's wild. You're going to find map pockets behind both the passenger and the driver's side. USB power points along the driver and the passenger side. There's power points everywhere. You've got an assist handle there. Assist handles, same thing, all over the place. Overhead, HVAC control, a little hook with a cabin light and a speaker. It's the same thing along this side. So you've got your little hook, light, speaker, HVAC control there too. But I mean, the quality of the second row seats, fantastic. That's one thing that I've loved about the Navigator. The first row seat's incredibly comfortable. The second row, impressive. It's nice. So there, like I mentioned, a few different configuration options that are available. As much as I love this console, it makes getting into that third row a little tricky if you're on the inside, but doing it from the out. Ooh. All right, so you can move the seat forwards, backwards this way, and then adjust out for your massage chair seats, etc. But you see this little guy? There are buttons along the outside there. So you can push in order to have the seat crank forward. It's like hugging that driver's seat like wild and then hopping inside. I mean, look at that. Plenty spacious back here. And then if you wanted to, bring that seat back. Ooh, there we go. All right, so with the seat, this will be as far back as it can go. I've got some knee space. I've got some foot space and head space. It is tight, but I can just fit back here. So I've got maybe half an inch roughly of head space. So not a ton, but I can sit back here. But one cool thing is that you've also got these buttons along both the driver and the passenger side. So you could give yourself a slight recline. Yeah, that didn't really make much of a difference. So kind of about a half an inch where you can slightly recline. You've got the seatbelt for that middle seat there too, which you could technically lock up right there if you wanted to. But along the seats there, you've got your tether points, anchors along all the seats there. On top of that, you've got more power points, some storage along the side there too. And that's the same thing along this side. So power points, cup holders. It's wild. And a nice glossy highlight because we've got the option with that center console. But yeah, this is pretty nice. On the middle seat here, for the third row. Oh yeah, the forgotten seat in every car, and this is no exception. So, every time the middle seat in the third row, typically all third row seats are brutal. The outboard seats were comfortable, the middle seat, not so much, but I can fit back here too. So I've got knee space, foot space, it's doable. I wouldn't want, if I drew the shorts, I'd be so disappointed, but I can at least fit back here, which is important. But yeah, it's pretty nice. And getting out, obviously if you didn't have the console in the middle, you could just pass through, but button push, takes a minute. Dun, 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 dun. There we go, look at that. But I'd say overall, the build quality of the new Navigator is fantastic. I love that Lincoln's introduced utilizing the side-mounted cameras to see what's going on in your blind spot. It's available in a few other manufacturers, so for the Lincoln to bring this to this world, I think it's about time. All right, let's give her 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6. Oh! The power that you get inside of this ride is fantastic. Let's do some en route handling here. Oh yeah, that air suspension system is beautiful. These are 22-inch wheels that you're going to find on this Navigator. There's the option for 24s, which is wild, but hold on. Before we get there, oh yes. That is nice. We are cruising. There we go, and Blue Cruise is now enabled, so it does it automatically. And then you can also hit the turn stalk, and it can change lanes for you automatically too. So it checks to see if anybody's in your blind spot, and then automatically shoots over. And that was a look at the 2025 Navigator Reserve, a beast of a ride, fully loaded with a little bit of a luxury price point. But you can find all of the build details for this Navigator down in the description, with links off to Lincoln Canada, US, along with the contact details for Formula Lincoln, who let me use this Navigator to shoot the video for you today. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone if you think they might find it helpful. And until I see you next time, take care.